it's your girl Serenity Rose, and we're back with another video. Yes, we are back with another video. And in this video, we're gonna be making this little purple gold moment. I think I'm gonna call it like purple champagne. That's what I'm getting, like purple champagne-y vibes, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. So I had to make space on my memory card, and by accident I deleted the first steps that I was doing, so I'm just gonna run it back real quick for you guys and then go back into voiceover. So I used my Kat Von D signature eyebrow pencil for my brows to outline. Then I used my then I used my e.l.f. pomade to fill them in, and then I used my Tarte Shape Tape concealer to clean up my brows, and then I also used that concealer to prime my lids. And the eyeshadow palette that we are using today is from ColourPop. This is the Play It Jewel eyeshadow palette. It's one of their big palettes, and I went in with the shade Rocker, which is this like pale shade to set the concealer, and then I just took this shade, which is called Craft, and put it in my crease. And now we can continue. Alright, so here I'm just packing on that purple shade on the outer corner. I'm not really sure why this always happens to me with purple, but when I cut the crease right where the concealer starts, it like looks wet and it turns darker than the rest of the shadow that I pack on. So it's just a back and forth game trying to blend it in and pack on that shadow. So after I am done packing on that shadow, I go in with this like yellow green gold and pack that on top of the concealer where I cut my crease. This shade is so pigmented. I love ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. Their shimmers, their metallics, so good. Even their pressed glitters are good. I did a recent look using one of their like 9-pan eyeshadow palettes that had a pressed glitter in the center. So freaking good. So then I just take that other purple shade and go around the edges of where I place the metallic shade, just so it doesn't look too harsh. I just wanted something soft around it. And then I'm going back in with that purple shade, tapping into it, taking off the excess because you don't want to put too much. You want to work in moderation, and just packing on again on the outer corner because it can blend away with the blending of other shades. So after that's done, I'm going in with my Holy Grail liquid liner from Essence. I believe it's the Super Precise eyeliner. This liner is so good. It's just like the NYX one, but super affordable. You probably get 2 or 3 of the Essence ones for the price of the NYX ones. And then I'm just pretty much making a nice little wing. I'm trying to get better at like making them thinner, because I know in previous videos they tend to like end up super thick, and I'm not a really big fan of super thick liners. I like more or less when they're super thin and it looks super precise and sharp. So, you know, just taking my time applying the liner. And then for mascara, I'm taking the Neutrogena Hydro Boost mascara. I actually like this mascara. It doesn't smell the greatest, but what mascara does, it does a really nice job at separating them and coating them. Not too much volume and lengthening, but it's a nice mascara. And here I am just being a little goofball. So yeah, I was just dancing and feeling myself. It's like in the process of doing makeup, you want to feel like that hype. So moving on to moisturizer, I'm using the CEO Sunday Riley moisturizer. This stuff is super hydrating. It smells like oranges and it's really, really good. A little bit high price point for a moisturizer, but I like it. And then for primer, I'm taking my Laura Mercier Pure Canvas primer. This stuff is also like really hydrating and moisturizing. It doesn't feel like it's sucking the life out of your skin by any means. It just feels really nice and smooth. So I do enjoy using that primer. I am trying to switch it up. I have a few like primers in my collection. So then for foundation, I'm taking my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This is the dewy version, and I believe I'm in the shade Caramel. I will try to leave everything linked down below in the description bar. So after I use the spatula and apply the foundation on my face, I go in with a foundation brush. This one is a little bit more smaller than the average foundation brush that I would use, but it is a lot more denser, so I feel like it really pushes the foundation into the skin nicely. So yeah, I just take my time pushing it into the skin, and then after that I go in with a beauty sponge blender, whatever you want to call it, and I just use the sponge damp to pick up any excess product, because you get more coverage using a brush. So after that, I go with my Tarte Glow Wand, and this is in the shade A Gleam, and this really just helps give like a hydrated glowy look to anywhere you apply it. And I like to apply it where I put my concealer, because that is where I apply the most powder. So yeah, I just take my sponge and blend that out as I would as if it was regular concealer, and as you can see, it just has that nice like glow to it. Again, I said this in one of my previous videos, but I do want to try using this all over the face, especially underneath like a mattifying foundation. So for concealer, I am taking the Juvia's Place concealer and just placing that in the usual spots: under the eye, the bridge of my nose, center of my forehead, and a heart. Do you see the heart? And on my chin. And then again, I'm going with my sponge to just blend that out. Really take your time with that part too, because sometimes I'm guilty of it myself, but sometimes I do this part in a rush, and you can definitely see the harsh lines, and it is not a good look. Definitely not a good look. The shade is a little bit bright, but you know, sometimes I'm in the mood for a bright eye. Like, who doesn't want to look alive and awake, you know? So for setting powder, I took my Too Faced Born This Way, I believe it's the ethereal setting powder, and I just use that anywhere I put the concealer. I always go on with a different loose powder from pressed powder. I try to use my pressed powder closer to a shade match for my skin tone, and then the loose powder anywhere I put concealer, because I do feel like I sometimes can get a white cast with loose setting powder, so I try not to use it all over my face because I'm not really a big fan of that. So yeah, I just pack this on and I leave it there until I start applying my pressed powder, or I guess in this case I dusted it off first. But yeah, I normally leave it on and then go in with my pressed powder and blend everything together. And I do apply my pressed powder over where I put loose powder, just so that everything like blends together, no harsh lines, it doesn't look too crazy. I like it to look, you know, somewhat seamless. So for pressed powder, I'm taking my Fenty Beauty pressed powder or powder foundation in the shade 310. That is the shade that I use in the foundation as well, and then I'm just packing that on all over my face. And then for bronzer, I took it back to BH Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Cocoa Cutie. That is their Brilliance bronzer, and it does have like shimmers in it, but it's nothing too crazy. It's just like a step up or step in between like a glowy bronzer and a matte bronzer. It blends out like a dream, super pigmented. I don't know if they still sell this. If they do, I will leave it linked down below in the description bar, but it is probably one of my favorite bronzers. Like, I just love the formula. I put that, you know, the usual spots. And then for blush, I take my NYX Sweet Cheeks blush in the shade Citrine Rose. I love this shade. I love this blush. I absolutely hate the packaging. I dug my nail into it already trying to open it a while ago, and every time I try opening it, it's always a problem. So if you feel like you put too much blush, just take your powder brush and dust over it to blend everything together. And then for highlighter, I'm taking my Benefit highlighter in the shade Cookie, and man, that highlighter is super blinding. Like, super intense. If you want a blinding highlighter, I highly recommend this one. I wish there was a shade that was just a little bit darker than that, because that one is a bit too light for me. Definitely something you could see when I go outside and where it starts and ends. If you want to get rid of that like distinguishable line, you can always go in with your sponge and press it in, and it just helps it look a little bit more seamless. So back to the eyes, I'm going back in with that purple shade, blending it in on the bottom, and then I'm going to take that brown shade and blend out the outer edge of where I applied that purple shade, just so it matches the top of the eye and it doesn't look too harsh like I just got punched in the face. And then same mascara for the lower lash line, because why not? And then I'm taking the same highlighter and applying it on the inner corner. I love a blinding inner corner moment. I feel like sometimes that also makes the looks, you know how there's certain steps like eyebrows definitely make it. I applied it on the inner corner and on my brow bone. This is not something I do all the time. I used to do it all the time, and it's a step that is just so easy to forget. And then I'm just going to be setting it down with the Anastasia Dewy Set Setting Spray. And then for lipstick, I'm using my Makeup Revolution lip liner in Glory and the Juvia's Place lipstick in the shade Chic, and my Maybelline Lifter gloss in the shade Silk, and setting my face down once again, and I'll see you in the outro. Alright, so this is the completed look. I am really feeling the purple with the gold. I feel like it's a nice like combo. So yeah, I think I may have went a little bit too pink on the lips, so I'm about to change that real quick. I think this look calls for something a little bit more brown. So I'm actually gonna apply my Maven's Beauty lipstick in the shade Buena. It's such a pretty brown. And then I'm just gonna apply my lip gloss. All right, I feel like that's a little bit better. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this look at the moment. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a thumbs up, comment down below. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Rose family. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying blessed, having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye. Can you play that again?